Hello everyone, Damien here from DKBrickStudios, and today we'll be doing another Bill Talk video today. Yes indeed, this time it will be on the Rosie Big Daddy. Yes indeed. So yeah, this will be part 1 of 2. So yeah, hit that subscribe button so you get notified when that comes out, which will be on Monday. And yeah, along with the tutorial. So yeah, So yeah, our topic today will be a couple what-if questions. Maybe one that's undecided. Well, that'll be found out in the video. So yeah, let's get that rolling, and we'll be going from there. So yeah. Alrighty, so let's get into this. So we're gonna have maybe 1, 2 what-if topics here. Just depends on what we do. Just depends on how long I talk about the first topic. So yeah. Let's get started with this. So, what is the topic? We're going to be talking. What's the first one? Yeah. It might just be this one, depending on how long I'm able to go for. But yeah. We are going to be talking about what would life be like if Rapture in the world, essentially, not just in Rapture, but in the world, if Rapture spanned the entire ocean floor, both for land and the sea. So this is gonna be a two-part analysis. I feel, or like whatever I don't know what the proper word is. I think analysis is the part thing. I think for that I don't know yet, but it is but we have to look at this in a specific way. Why? Because there's so many different parts to this. There's 2 different things that we have to go over. So I feel like I feel like that's going to be the best way to go over this. And yeah, I remember a friend of mine telling me about this, like Rapture being like the entire ocean floor, spanning the entire ocean floor. At one point that was like their actual plan. So yeah, that actually was very interesting to me, and I'm actually very interested to actually go over this topic. So yeah, let's get this started. First off, let's start on the land. I feel like the land would probably be the best place to start us on. So land. We would probably have like our lives changed ultimately. Like with the existence of this city, it would be hard for Andrew Ryan to hide the city, essentially. And we'll go into what could Andrew Ryan do to hide the city if the Civil War didn't go, if they didn't. So yeah, if the city wasn't hidden, you would have a bunch of city lights. Just a bunch of lights just going off in the ocean when it got dark. And we would always be seeing that. The city would always be illuminating the water no matter what. So subs would always be seeing that, while we, the people on the ocean, on the surface, are like, what the heck is going down there? And people are going to obviously send people down there to investigate. They're going to see the city. And you're like, what the heck is going on down here? When was this thing made? And it's going to be interesting. Hey, here's an idea. Here's something. Where would they get the money for it? Where would they get, I feel like Andrew Ryan could somehow get the money for that. But where would they get the resources for that? Because that's probably going to be a lot of resources. Because the ocean is 75% of the world. The world. That's a lot. Where are you going to get all that resources? But we'll get into all that when we get to that, because Rapture, I'm sure Rapture would figure something out. They'd probably figure stuff out. They'd probably be more advanced than us, but still. Like I said, they'd probably be more advanced than us. There'd probably be technology there that we wouldn't know about. They probably have better technology to travel to and from from one end of the city to another end of the city. They may have teleportation. All this technology for us, we'll have to be like, oh my god, they've actually cracked the code. And then they'd be like, oh, there's where all those people went after the disappearance, that's where everybody disappeared to. Oh, okay. Who do they belong to now? And what nation do they belong to? Like, it'd be like, oh, who do these people, like, the world would have to worry about, like, we have all these people here. Who do they belong to? Like, the mind would be boggling to them, and plus they would have to worry about, like, okay, what, like, they'd have so many questions and like, worries, and, like, the people on the surface would be like, what the heck has been happening here? What's going on down there? Of course, people are going to want to take a visit to this, and Edgerine may or may not allow it, because, big government will not, because these people might bring in big government, and big government, and big government is not what he wants. He wants a free, pretty much laissez-faire society, which, how would that even work? Like, of course, again, we're going to have to go through a number of things here. Of course, again, you're welcome to put in your thoughts down in the description, not in the description, but in the comments down below. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions and all that good stuff. It'd be greatly appreciative. I love hearing your thoughts and opinions on stuff like this. So yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, plus, ships, I mean, they're being worried about the depths of the ocean and all this other stuff, and, it'd be nerve-wracking and all this stuff, like, okay, now we know that the city's here. What happens if we crash land? What happens if something hits? What happens if somehow our ship gets destroyed and we start sinking into the ocean? You're going to be responsible not just for the deaths of the people on the boat, but for the people in the ocean, and property destruction, and all that all that other good stuff, which, of course, Andrew Ryan is going to hate because he's got to worry about that, and also plane crashes. You got to worry about those plane crashes. If a plane crashes in the middle of the ocean, it'll probably hit Rapture. I mean, if it's spanning pretty much the entire ocean, it's going to hit there. It's not that, it's going to be hard for them to be like, oh yeah, it's easy, we can just fix that. No, they're going to have to allocate, they're going to have a bunch of hoops to go through, and they're probably going to sue people on the surface who are dead as well because they died in the crash. Heck, we may even have people like Jack who, for all intents and purposes, get used on the surface if people actually snuck into Rapture, learned about all this stuff, talked to the right people. Imagine a world with that. Oh my god, you could just have a sleeper agent. They would have the perfect sleeper agent. They would be able to just, with a simple trigger phrase, kill somebody. Just go, out. The person's out of the problem, and then the person just forgets what happened. They'd be like, wait, what happened? But to them, they'd be sleepwalking, and, they don't know what happened. And, yeah, it'd be interesting. The whole world would change, essentially. If plasmids were a thing down there, and the whole plasmids were, like, regulated and everything, although Andrew Ryan probably wouldn't want that, but if they did get regulated, they would have that, and of course people like us in the United States would probably want to get a hold of that, and of course that would change warfare, and that probably could end up bringing a downfall to humanity. That could actually, I could see that actually happening if that actually were to happen. I would see that happening because of all of that and the people working there and living there, and, it's just like, they'd be like, oh, yeah, give us those plasmids. No, you ain't giving them your plasmids? No, this is our invention. No. And the U.S. comes in and takes them, not like, I kind of feel, I think, there's been a moment in the U.S. history where that's happened, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, yet I do live in the U.S., so. Yeah, There's nothing wrong. I can kind of acknowledge that's happened in the past. I can acknowledge that's happened. I can acknowledge that. I can wholeheartedly acknowledge that. At this moment in time on the build talk video, in the building process, we're right now working on the feet, getting into the legs. So yeah, we're going to be going into the legs pretty soon. Making some good progress on this. So yeah, okay, what else? I mean, God, warfare would probably be changed as well. Like, I mean, heck, where would the boundaries be? Like, I feel like any way, if you'd have to pray all world, all trade over the seas would have to be, would probably be redone, would be stopped if, or probably close to a halt, be nearly stopped, if not close to a halt, with new trade routes being routed, with figuring out where the heck, everybody is, where the heck the city is, so that way they can't, get to there, and, you can't go, because, the city spans the thing. What, does that count as Rapture's waters? Whose water is that then? That's that'd be a whole debate. And of course, do they count in the UN? Would they be invited to the UN? If we get to the whole debate in this video about what if Rapture actually had contact with the outside world, we're gonna have some similar things brought up here as well there. So don't worry, I'll be bringing these ideas won't be left there; they'll be brought into there as well. So yeah, see, how else would the world be changed? Well, I mean, of course, military, like, submarines, of course. You can't take your submarine across pretty much most of the ocean to a strategic point for battle, nor can you take your ships. Like, they're screwed. There's no way to do that. Like, even they could even be like, oh, you can't take your ships over from, like, let's say Japan. Let's say U.S. had some ships in Japan, and Rapture was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They couldn't take them to Hawaii because Rapture was there. Rapture spanned the middle, it was in there, and they'd be crossing Rapture's waters, and they'd be shot on sight. I mean, of course, I feel like Rapture would have some defenses, of course, if they're that big. It'd be a giant stalemate, of course, I feel like, and I feel like everybody whoever felt like if we're going to go on if war ever happened, I feel like Rapture would ultimately win because they live underwater, yes, but they have plasmids. Plasmids are an ultimate advantage to everybody in the world to them. Like, they're they have genetic superpowers. And of course, if anybody else gets power, it gets their hands on them, the entire world is going to be screwed. Nobody's going to be able to be like, oh, wait, that's not a good thing. We shouldn't be having those out on the market. Nope, never mind. We're going to have them on the market, and they're going to be sold. And the people are going to. Scientists will be trying to figure out how much of a drug, how addictive are these before they get out to the public. But of course, Rapture, the citizens are already using them. Yeah, there is like a whole dichotomy, like a whole difference between the two, between our world, the real world, and the Rapture's world. The whole laissez-faire and a world with reason. America is capitalism, but I mean it's got government intervening. Rapture is capitalism on steroids. No big government's intervening. Nobody intervenes with their thing, the ideals of Rapture and all that. No, nothing is intervening. So yeah. Trying to think here, what else could be changed in the real world? I'm thinking here. I'm still here. I'm just thinking. Right now we're getting the legs all dealt with, as we do. Got to get them legs worked on. Them legs are being worked on. Them legs, Them legs. Why don't we head to Rapture now? And if anything comes up with the land, the surface, us, people on the land and all that, we will come back to that. Alright? Alright. So, Rapture. It's going to be huge. There's going to be a lot of different stores, a lot of different people, a lot of different... It's going to be expansive, the city. You're probably going to have a lot of people in the upper class and probably people in the working class. There's probably going to be a lot of people researching on things. And as time goes on, you're going to have a lot of people figuring out how to do certain things, how certain things work. Like, I'm pretty sure, once you get to a certain point, there's no way you're going to be able to walk from one portion of Rapture to another portion of Rapture. You're going to have to take some sort of submersible. Like, you could, I'm going to use this analogy here. Like, you could drive from New York to California, but that's going to be days. Or you could fly, and that's just mere hours. Somebody could take a bathysphere, and that could just take mere hours. From one end of the Rapture to another end of Rapture, and that'll just be mere hours. Meanwhile, you could have another type of bathysphere that goes a lot faster and can carry a lot more people and can take people from one end of the city to another end, or have like the Rapture metros and go from one end of the city to another end fast. Really fast. And get people in and out of the city fast. Get people all across the city fast. Like, how would you, also here's an idea. How would you know what sector you're from? Like, how would you identify, oh yeah, I'm, John Smith from the Atlantic sector, or Janie Smith, from the Pacific sector. What would constitute as your own ideal and sector? Like, you have to figure that out. That's something that's going to be important. You can't just go, oh yeah, that we have our sectors and, our things and all that, we're good. No, you have your sectors. You're probably going to have sectors and names and all that. Like, the original Rapture is probably going to be its own sector, in of itself. Meanwhile, everything else is going to be its own sector. Meanwhile, there's going to be other sectors and other portions of the city that are going to be named and all of that. And of course, we got to think about what would happen if a portion of the city got damaged or got, flooded. What would happen? Well, of course, a lot of people are going to die. They're going to have to allocate resources to that repair and, Honestly, I'm just going to say this. I feel like Rapture would be better off as a small city. It makes them a lot easier. Unless they've developed some form of technology like Wakanda. Wakanda, to hide themselves really well. So yeah, Wakanda would be something like that would be really useful. Speaking of that, if they were not hidden Rapture, a submarine would ram right into the city. It could ram into the city. Well, if they weren't hidden, they would have to worry about before the whole international. If the international waters were no longer international waters and now just Rapture's waters, they would have to worry about navigating through the ocean, navigating through all the water, navigating through the city, and people in Rapture would be like, "Whoa, that's a boat. That's a submarine right there. We've been discovered." Short. I'm pretty sure Rapture, 100%, would be years ahead in technology than we are. they probably have a lot of really cool technology than we do. They probably have better technology than we do, and it'd be a lot better than ours. Heck, the phones we have, heck, it'd be a lot better. We probably have a lot better devices than they probably wouldn't even have something like a phone. They'd probably have they probably might have holograms. And still having that 90s, 1950s look, 1950, 1960s look to them. Which would be dope to see. Yeah. Also, another big thing, where are you going to get all the trees? You gotta have trees to give oxygen. Oxygen is important. You're going to have multiple Arcadias, or you're going to have a giant Arcadia to supply all of the oxygen. Oxygen is very important. Yes, but still. There's a lot of things it's going to be very important for them to go and be like, oh yeah, we need more tree. We're going to need more things to survive. And it's like, oh, we're dead without that. Yeah. Where's they going to get food? Like, you're going to have a big you're probably going to have more population than what's on Earth already. There's probably be more. And everybody's going to be there, and they're going to be happy, and then it's probably going to be no problem. And then somebody from the surface is like, hey, why don't we bring take the overcrowded people and bring them down to Rapture? And they're going to be like, no, they do not have our ideals. They will bring destruction to our city. We will reject them. And they'll be like, what are you? There will be this whole debate and everything. It'd just be like, people would be lucky to get into Rapture. People would love to get into Rapture. Heck, me and my friend Amber would love to get into Rapture if we lived in that timeline where it happened and became a giant city on the bottom of the ocean, and it was discovered, and we were like, oh, I want to live there now. I'm off. So, since I've said all the things that have happened kind of just out of order, let's kind of put together a timeline here of how things would happen if it was discovered. So let's say Rapture is at the bottom of the sea and it's fully been constructed. Like, they've slowly been adding more and more lights. They haven't gone really far. They haven't gone past the continental shelves. The continental shelves are where they build. Once they go past that, it's where once you go away from there is where you have your ship. Is where the ships are. Is where the city is. Maybe a little further outward in the ocean, away from the ocean, but nonetheless, it is where it is. It'll be where it is. So, people from there would live their lives happily, living and enjoying them. People on the surface would probably, like if they're on boats or something, might be noticing lights on the surface, from the surface. They may not be. I mean, we didn't really see lights from from the depths with Rapture, but that's because it was really deep in all the water, but still there could be lights down there that could be illuminating everything down there. I mean, everything. Heck, think about all the fish that are down there that are just as light. They gotta move to a new location. Poor fish. And heck, think about all the plane crashes and all that. They're gonna have to worry about all of those, planning and all that, like the Titanic and the trenches. Like, heck, I could see them having a nice, like some tunnels or something over the trenches. But you gotta be careful. If something happens if something goes into the rock, into the building, and it causes it to crash and break apart into pieces, where it crashes and people just die, and it's like, oh, they just experienced a ton of pressure, more than we can handle. They're screwed. But back to the timeline. So people would probably be noticing, lights. So, subs might be, Probably, subs if they were, if the lights were off in certain parts of the ocean while they were under construction, they'd probably be noticing these and be wondering what's going on. The Big Daddies may end up attacking them, just getting them away. Maybe some missiles might be fired at them from the city to defend them, make people think, oh, this is not a thing you do. There might be a war actually going on because who knows who's doing all the firing of missiles at everybody, and it's like, nope. Was revealed, nope, that's just Rapture. Shut out the bottom of the ocean since I forget when did it get established. What year? I know 1960 is the year the game starts. I gotta start remembering dates. I need to remember dates. I don't remember a lot of dates, but I know a couple dates so far. I gotta remember more dates. But yeah, after that whole ordeal, with all that, people will probably go, yo, what's going on down there? Like, people will be wondering what's going on down there, and eventually there's probably going to be a sub that's going to discover it. Here's how I'm going to see how they get discovered. A sub's probably going to go into a section that's got light, because they're seeing a light across the ocean, and it's into their flight plans, in their course, so they're heading that direction. They're heading towards a boat that crashes into the water, and it destroys a part of Rapture, a little bit of Rapture, and they have to go and find the boat, and find the black box, and they find the city. Or a plane crashes, and the same thing happens, and they find the black box, and they go find the black box, they end up finding the city instead. And, the world gets informed about this. I mean, it's kind of hard. You can't really cover up that there's something in the middle of the ocean as big as that. I feel like if you're going to cover it up, you're going to have to you can't really cover that up. You just can't. Unfortunately. So yeah. And when they discover this, they're probably a lot of debates, a lot of questions are going to be happening. Like, when was this? When did this exist? When has this existed? How long has it been here? Where did these people come here? What is it? What technology do they have? Like, a lot of questions are going to be forming about like the city and the people and all that. And then they go to the city. What do they find? They find Andrew Ryan with no gods or kings, only man. They probably use one of the many lighthouses that are probably scattered around the city because, I mean, they're probably using lighthouses to help get the people into the city. And they'll probably be like, okay, this is where everybody who's disappeared from the world disappeared to. They will figure that'll be like, they'll probably persuade people, no, come back to the surface. They're like, no, we're enjoying our life here, actually. If they actually do enjoy their life, they could just say, no, we like our life at, or they could be like, yeah, we could, but, there's a whole, no contact with the surface, and we're actually talking to people from the surface, so no, thank you. It could go either way, or they could actually just be like, yeah, fine, whatever, I'll go back. Or they'll be happy to go back, because, hey, they can see their family. Or they might bring their family back down to the surface, or back down to Rapture. Hey. But either way, they'll probably try to get in, They'll try to get in, for sure. They'll definitely try to get in. They'll do whatever they can to see Rapture. Probably at some point somebody will. There'll probably be somehow somebody to get in, like, they'll probably notice these lighthouses are all across the ocean. And they lead to the city, and they get in, and, they see people in there, and they're like, oh! They name him like Johnny Topside. They give him a nickname like Johnny Topside. Not like John, not exactly, but they give him a nickname like that. Become a lore folk, like a hero or something like that in their city. And they essentially, Andrew Ryan's like, fine, look, you can stay in the city, but you can't go. You can stay here for a little bit, but you gotta go back eventually. You gotta go back. And he might do that, or he might just be like, get out. No no contact with the surface world, and you're a person of the contact of the surface world. So get out of my city, get out like Shrek, get out of my swamp. He'd be kind of like that scene. So yeah, I don't know why people watch me. Honestly, with the references I make and stuff in my videos, I'm amazed that I actually get viewers. Okay, I'm amazed that viewers are a thing on my channel. All right, but still, nonetheless, all right. Less than an hour for me to go. Alrighty, less than an hour. Less than an hour. I can probably make this. I still haven't about the if they were covered, but still, okay, and all this other stuff to do. Okay, so what'll happen there? So yeah, they'd probably try to do that. They'd probably try to take whatever, if they were down there, they'd probably take whatever stuff they had. They'd probably be like, yeah, no, we need to make sure you're taking none of your stuff back. But like, but we must, but I want to see, but they'd probably be a whole thing there. They'd probably then try to understand whose waters belong to. Who do those waters belong to? Because, I mean, Rapture, you're on the bottom of the ocean. Does those waters belong to Rapture? Or do they belong to the international waters? Because yeah, that'd be interesting. And plus, I will say this, another thing that was the whole thing of Rapture, they're on all different international time zones. They're in different international time zones. Like, each part of the city, like, there's sections of the city that are going to be in international time zones. And that's going to be crazy. And they're going to have to, figure out a way to get people to and from the city. It will not, but then, of course, they start trying to debate that. They debate, of course, like, once if they figure that out, if it's Rapture's waters, who do that? Then what are they gonna do? Like, people are gonna be like, fine, then we won't. Then people might just be like, no, this is our water. This is not your water. This is international water. They're like, yeah, want to say that again? We're gonna shoot your ship down. Like, at least it's not air. I mean, heck, that could be a whole thing with Colombia, but we're not gonna go into Colombia. I might talk about Colombia a bit at the end of this video instead of doing the other topic, but I mean, we will see. Might get a little tease for another video in the future. Might be something way down in the future. I'll have to see. I'm not going to be doing Colombia unless somebody actually asks for it. So if you want to see Colombia, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to do it. I just don't want to do Colombia because I wasn't a fan of Infinite, but I'll do it if somebody requests. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below if you are interested, if you would like to see that made. Yeah, of course, there's probably going to be people trying to get in the Rapture after the whole debate, trying to skydive in, maybe, let's see, how else would you try to get in the Rapture? Maybe, like, obviously trying to skydive in. No ships are trying to get in. No ships can move if it was international waters. If it was no longer international waters. If it was international waters, you can't really go anywhere. Trade would be stopped, it would be halted, no commercial trades would be going back and forth. You can't really have people you can't have your goods from China anymore, you gotta have your goods from America. Yep, the little expensiveness, but still you gotta have it. It could be transported by plane, but still there's gonna be more expensive, it's probably gonna be less of a it's going to be the only way to get things to and from around the world because of, well, the oceans are no longer allowed. It's all Rapture's water. And you got to get a permission from Rapture. And no one can go, like, let's say there's a war going on, and, like, let's say, I'm going to just bring this up because, I'm just going to say this because, the Middle East because it's always, in conflict in the Middle East. Let's say the U.S. is trying to help out in the Middle East. They can't bring any ships to help our troops and to help bring more troops in to help out. Nope, they can't. No troops can go in or out. They might allow a little bit of time to get everybody back to where they need to. But if they don't, then everybody's screwed. Then people are screwed where they are. They'll have to start making a life there, or they're, if they're in war, then they're stuck there. They might be stuck there. If the wars would be over real quick. And forget about what Navy. The Navy would be gone for sure. Like, you can no longer use the Navy. The Navy is gone. Everybody would have to start thinking of new tech to use for new warfare, how to get people to across the world. Well, how to get goods across the world. I mean, you could get people across the world via boat, via plane. Thank goodness, at least there's another way to get around the world, and that's the main way we get around the world. So, you know. So, yeah, there's that. Of course, people are going to try to do, you know. There'd probably be, you know, a lot of. What else? Well, I think about this. We are currently on, I believe, the body of the Big Daddy. This was one that took a lot of work to do. I had a lot of attempts to do with this thing. And I mean it. There was a lot of attempts made with this thing. And I am just glad that I got it over with. That body was a pain in the butt. But it's over, it's done, it's made. Thank goodness, because it took a lot of work and figuring out to do, but it's over. Okay, yeah, that was, I will say that. The main thing that was difficult with the Big Daddy was the body, trying to figure out how big to make it, how tall to go. Just in general, that, I mean, the bounce was kind of I had a general idea of how big to go and how tall to go, but with the Rosie, it was a little difficult. Once I got to the Lancer and the Lancer and the Rumbler, it was much more easier. Much more easier to do than that. For sure. So how else would the timeline go? I'm sure at some point the UN would probably reach out to Rapture and ask them if they would like to join the UN. They'd probably say no. Diplomats would try to go into Rapture. They'd probably be like, no, you ain't coming into Rapture. What you trying to do, get into Rapture? No. Even though it's only no gods, no kings, only man, we ain't letting in big government into our country. No, thank you. So once you bring him in, it's impossible to take him and bring him out. And, you know, and of course people will be like, wait, they'd like to learn all their technology in that Rapture, and they're like, no, we're happy with our, no, we're good. We're good with our share. We're not sharing it. You're just the parasites who want to, you know, who are asking for your share, you know. As Andrew Ryan has said, a man creates, a parasite asks, where's my share? Which, you know, I actually kind of do agree with that. You know, there are people who do ask me about that. I do kind of agree with Andrew Ryan's philosophies a bit, I will say that, but not all of them. I do agree that a man should be entitled to the sweat of their own brow, but I mean, it is their own hard work. They worked hard for what they worked on. But I mean, if somebody does ask for something, they should have, you know, have merit in what they've done. All right, have them have equal hard work to show that they could, for that return. That's my feeling, of course. I do agree with that's kind of how I am with the channel. Like, I am at the split of my own brow. I'll get to where I need to get to with this channel. So yeah, but I'm not here to talk about Andrew Ryan's philosophies. I might actually make that an entire video itself. That might be what's her face, Eleanor's Big Daddy, Big Sister suit talk. That might be a video about that. I gotta shuffle things around, of course. But hey, nonetheless, alright. So yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure at some point planes would start there might be a crash or something. Of course there's going to be a crash on Rapture at some point, and they might not even be fully made. Like, I'm pretty sure if they even span the whole Atlantic Ocean, they'd be, you know, it'd be easy for them to notice if they were covered. They were covered. Well, that's a whole other story, which I should be getting to soon. They'd of course have a plane crash. They'd declare war on whoever did that. War would happen. Rapture would win, and they'd have land colonies. They'd probably make the land, the people who live on that land, be like, oh hey, subscribe to our ideas. They'd probably try to do that. I could see that happening. I could see them coming in with their new technology and all that, being like, hey, here's our stuff. That'd be real interesting, I'll say that. And yeah, I mean, Rapture would definitely win because, I mean, people of Rapture would definitely win the battle. I mean, Andrew Ryan would definitely be the winner because, I mean, he has splicers. There are going to be splicers. I mean, of course, this is, of course, if Tenenbaum went to... I mean, of course, this is a bit of... the timeline was a bit different, but, I mean, hey, if splicers were a thing in Rapture, like, actually, like, were more under control and all that, they could be a viable army for people, which I think would be really cool to do, which would be a really interesting thing. And Rapture would obviously have that as their protection, as their forces, and they would be able to just win the war. And win the war and all that. It'd be very interesting, though. Very interesting on how that would go out. I'm sure if we had like some like a army of splicers up against the U.S. Army, I'm sure the freaking citizens of Raptors would win because not just with the plasmas, but with the tonics as well. Like if somebody, like let's say you have electric flesh too. Somebody goes to whack you. Let's say a soldier goes to attack you with a knife, goes to melee combat you, and you also got armored shell too. You have just now electrocuted somebody. So, you know, and your skin is very durable, very tough. So yeah, you are able to do that. That you would be able to do that. They'd be able to take that out. And of course, everybody would probably eventually, if that happened, would recognize Rapture as a power, probably a world power. I mean, if spanning the entire world ocean, probably. Now let's talk about if they were underwater. If they were covered. That would make life a lot harder for people if they were in a submarine. For sure. Let's say I was in a submarine and I ended up hitting one of the shields. Nobody in Rapture is hurt, but, you know, in the camo shields, but, you know, they're dead. People are dead. Everybody's in Rapture, and who's in Rapture is able to live in there. Animals are allowed through. I feel like they should be able to allow animals through because that would make sense, and not just be like, hey, no animals in. You gotta let the animals in and out, you know? You gotta let them just go through the city. Do their thing. They'll avoid them, but, you know, anybody out from the outside world, hit that wall, they're good as they just explode into water. People go to investigate, they try to figure out what caused it. They can't really figure it out. Mysterious explosions have happened. Let's say a plane crashes in the water. Nothing really happened. They can't really find out what happened there. They can't really find where it originally landed. The black box is probably going to be a far distance, much farther than it was before, than where it was when it landed, when it crashed, or it might be destroyed because of it hitting the thing. And with the boats, they're probably going to hit that thing, and they're probably going to be more destroyed. Of course, people in Rapture might end up hearing that, but they'll probably be, safe, not worried about it. Be like, Andrew Ryan would be like, relax, everybody relax. It's just another crash on the shield. Parasites will not get to us this time. They will not get to us. So I believe here's where I felt like I needed to go back and redo the body with the Rosie. I believe. I forget. It's been some time since I built it, but I like having these run while I watch this while I record this, so you can kind of see what I want, what you guys are seeing as well. Yeah, the city would obviously be, they'd have to worry about that. What else? Well, of course, if they were under that, then any sub or boat that any of the submersibles that Rapture has would have to stay hidden from any and all items, any and all things, so that they don't get seen by anything. Any scientist who wanted to go explore, let's say, the Marianas Trench, wouldn't be able to really because Rapture would probably be over that, and they'd be like, there seems to be something below us. We can't penetrate. They'd be going down, and then bam, they'd hit it, and it'd be like, huh, that happened again. Of course it did. And Rapture would just be, under their surveillance. Quietly, people would probably on the surface be like, what the heck is happening? Like, they'd be worried, like, is there something under the water that we don't know about? Even the government would be worried, be terrified. They'd be worried. They'd be trying to figure out what the heck's going on out there. They'd be sending subs. They'd be sending ships. They'd be trying to figure out what this is. While the citizens are wondering there'd probably could be conspiracy theories. There'd probably be just like people like on the internet just talking about like, hey, here's what I think is down there. Some people probably, it's the lost city of Atlantis. Like, it's the entire ocean. Yeah, well, they probably expanded their entire city over the entire ocean. Which makes no sense, but hey, it worked. It happened. Meanwhile, City of Rapture is just chilling out nicely. They're enjoying themselves, Andrew Ryan's probably sitting in the Adonis resort, or the Adonis, what's the Adonis, luxury, in the Adonis, yeah, probably I believe it's the Adonis resorts, or the Adonis baths, resorts, the Adonis baths, and they'd be like, oh yeah, just chilling there, sipping on a drink, relaxing. Everything's going great. Everything's going Ryan. If they were to build, and let's say they only had a portion of the ocean, they add one of those shields, add in another one, make another one to make it so that people can get in, so that people can move from one place to another. So that way they can add like another shield over the ocean, over the city, and start building. So that way it's hidden. And people will be like, yeah, we have not explored 75% of the ocean. Haven't explored only all of the ocean. We've only explored 5% of the ocean? We actually have explored 5% of the ocean, which boggles the mind. That just is insane. We've only explored 5% of our ocean, okay? I'm just going to say that. We've explored only 5% of it. That's insane. Who knows what could be actually down there? I mean, for all we know, I'm just gonna say this, and this is just me being I am a bit of a conspiracy nut, but I don't go all crazy being like, air. Yeah, obviously anything is a conspiracy theory. No, I feel like with this, there could be aliens. There could be, not aliens, but there could be some kind of civilization down there that we don't know about. I don't know, though. That's just me being me. I'm a bit of a conspiracy nut. Like I said, I am a bit of that. Because I do feel like there are things down there that we do not know about that are down below the ocean that just are unknowns. And it's insane. That's insane to me, honestly. But, without further ado, let's continue on with this. Yeah, I think I'm redoing the body again. I might be. I forget what I might not be. I don't know. We're definitely doing something with the body, that's for sure. This body, the body for this one was a pain in the butt. Luckily, with the Lancer and the Rumblers, like I said earlier, those were not as bad. The Rumbler will be next week. Will be next week. Will be next Friday and of course next Monday because these are 2 hours long. 2 hours long. This one was actually together was only almost 3 hours. Be glad I didn't put this all together in one whole thing. I'm glad I didn't do that because I would be standing here for 3 hours. I am standing and recording at the same time, folks. Trying to be a bit healthy. A little bit more healthier than I am right now. Anyway, helps, Anyway, helps and all. So, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let's try to think of a timeline for this before we wrap this up. How do I want to do this? So where do we want to start? I feel like, obviously, as Rapture expands, more and more of the ocean becomes less and less explorable for humans to go, well, after a certain depth. Because people are going to be like, okay, here's the ocean, we can go explore it, but they might hit a wall, hit one of the force fields that are around Rapture. I'm imagining something like Wakanda, where they have that force field that kind of changes the look, that makes it look like it's just a rock, like it's just like normal seafloor, but it isn't. It's just that. Speaking of a giant ocean floor line, how are they going to power all that? That's a lot of power that has to go there. There's going to be a bunch of Hephaestuses at ocean, at where ocean water, where the volcanoes are at, not where the underwater volcanoes are at. That's gonna be insane. I feel like we're pretty much the trenches, not where the Marianas Trench, but where the mid-Atlantic ridge is. That's probably gonna be where a bunch of the power comes from. Any of the other ridges, if there's any other ridges they can use, they'll be using that for sure. But yeah, but back to the whole timeline, they'd be using, power. They'd have to, people would be, having hard trouble trying to get to certain places. Subs, boats, not much of a problem. But of course, if a boat crashes over where one of the places are built or being built, they'd have trouble living there. They'd have trouble because, well, they'd be dead. The debris would just fall over the bubble, over the shield, and it'd just be like, oh, okay, that's just another casualty to our dream, the great dream, of Rapture. Meanwhile, we're just out here living our lives, enjoying ourselves. And how that'll play, and now people are just realizing, oh, wait, hang on, there's, they're gonna be people are gonna be realizing, wait, things are not ending up where they should be ending up if they crash. They're probably gonna start noticing patterns. Of course, people on the surface are probably gonna be worried and freaking out, whereas governments are probably gonna be like, what is going on down there? What is down there? We need to figure that out. People, again, like I said, conspiracy theories are going to be going around debunking all this, trying to debunk it, trying to figure it out. Be like, oh, it's Atlantis. Or some sort of government, alien civilizations being built. Some weird, secret things going on down there. That's for sure. But no, it's not. It's just, a city under the ocean. And, they do whatever they could. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the scientists would have figured out that there's something there that's blocking all of it. Like, they probably figured out it's like some sort of shield, but they can't test that theory. The lighthouses would probably exist at certain points of the cities as well, but they'd probably be, they'd probably be wondering what the heck's going on there. Of course, they'd probably, a couple scientists would probably go into one of those, but somebody would go into them. Somebody would probably go into one of those lighthouses, enter one, and be like, oh, so this is what it's here. And they'd hear the whole spiel by Andrew Ryan about how we built this city because of, there were people, because he wanted a city where the artist cannot fear the censor and the scientists cannot fear no petty morality. Yeah, that would be it. That's what they'd hear, and they'd be like, "Oh wow, this is a beautiful looking city." The Rockefeller Art Deco. That's a nice theme. That's a nice idea for an art city, for a city that does work. I will say. Yeah, and of course, they probably find out about it. They probably try to find a way to get out. They probably wouldn't really be able to because they probably would be like, "How the heck do I control one of these bathyspheres?" Probably wouldn't really be able to. They'd probably be stuck there. Probably become another Johnny Topside, and be stuck there forever. And it'd be something. I really feel like that's how it would play out. And yeah, of course, every time people are going to keep trying to get in there, they're gonna keep going to there, but they're going to keep getting stuck. They're going to have to try to find ways to get out. They're going to try to, of course, people who are in this, they're going to obviously have to adapt, live a life in Rapture, become a new person in Rapture, become these ideas. They might even become Big Daddies in the future. That might end up happening to them. Who knows? Like how Subject Delta became Big Daddy. How Johnny Topside became one. I believe this one I am doing no wait, that's a 4x6, okay. I believe this could be the final iteration. I could be wrong, I'll have to check the footage, but I don't want to say that's the final iteration of the body, because of course there's another hour left to this, because the body took forever, but I could just be an understatement by me. So yeah. And, those scientists might end up finding each other in the city. They may just be like, "Yo, Jim, how did you get down here?" Be like, "Oh, I got stuck down here." "Oh, you did too?" "Shoot, we both got stuck down here." "Who else got stuck down here?" "Oh, a bunch of other people." Great. And then, there'd probably be a whole group of people down in Rapture who, from the surface, are now living in Rapture, who used to live on the surface and are now like legends to people in Rapture, which are crazy. Which is crazy, but still, it'd be that. Would any of the governments try to find them? I mean, they probably would. They probably would go looking for them if they disappeared. Would they try to do rescue missions? Probably. They'd fail. They'd get them. They'd have trouble getting out. Because they'd probably do like, "Oh, let's just put an explosive on the wall," and be like, "You realize we're surrounded by water, right? And we're at the very lowest part we're in the ocean." Oh, right. any standard rescue mission tactic would be gone. They wouldn't know what they're going to until once they get there, and they'd be like, "We're so underprepared for this. We don't know what we're doing. We have no clue what we're doing. We're screwed. We're stuck down here." So they'd be sending people that are stuck there for a while, for probably a bit. Would be stuck there, and they'd be like, "Yeah, no, we're no longer sending people." They may have a way to contact people up on the surface, but I doubt it. I mean, there probably aren't a lot of people who would be like, "Oh, hey, here's some communicate." Here, they probably would after a while be like, "Destroy the device so they don't know that you were in contact with the surface, and just live your life down there." Maybe they might have them as sleeper agents. Maybe not like sleeper agents, but maybe have like them as agents to be like kind of tell them, okay, here's what's going on. Here's what Rapture is. Here's what the city is. Here's everything you need to know about the city. You're like, oh, that's what that is. Huh. Okay. That's some a bit. They probably wouldn't say that, but they'd be like, "Huh, that's a lot of stuff that we could use. We got to get our hands on that." They'd probably try to figure a way to get their hands on it, but they couldn't get out. They probably would have a hard time getting out because again, no contact with the surface world. So yeah, they'd be screwed there. Hell, they'd imagine like let's say like one of the people were married who went down there. Oh my god, that'd be horrible. Child, everything. They'd be like, yeah, I'm going to figure out the thing. They never come back. God, that'd be horrible to them. Yeah, now he's got a new life, a new mistress, presumably, a child down there. He's got a whole new life down there, essentially. He's going to have a whole new life, and he's just going to become, this new person. Which I would feel for them. I would feel bad for them, but yeah, hey, it sucks. Of course, the government would have to at some point, once they figure out it's an underwater city, have to figure out how they're going to tell the world that there's an underwater city hiding in the ocean. There's a city hiding under. There's a whole city underwater. Not just a whole city, but an entire whole city spanning the entire ocean floor in the world, spanning the entire ocean floor, which would be very interesting. Like, I'm pretty sure they could survive at least a nuclear apocalypse. I'm pretty sure Rapture, I'm pretty sure Rapture is probably one of the safest ways to survive a nuclear apocalypse. Unless the water doesn't dry up. Unless the water dries up, it gets affected. But I'm sure radiated water, they might be good. Unless, something happens during that whole ordeal and, hey, they'd probably survive that. They'd probably survive the whole ordeal, which, hey, props to them. Yeah, people would, and plus, I mean, there'd be, with both scenarios, there'd be a whole other world, like, they'd be like, okay, there's like 7 point however many people on the planet. 7 point however billion people on the planet. Yet, they might be like, it doesn't feel right. There feels like there's more on the planet. What happens? They discover if it was just there, Rapture, it'd be 7 point, it'd be like, if it was just there and snuck hidden, it'd be higher, as opposed if it was hidden, they wouldn't know what's causing the discrepancy. people would be like, wait, what's causing all this? So as you can see right now in the model, we're adding the back bit to the Rosie, which I think looks really, which is going to be where we add the back bit, you know, all that stuff to him. So yeah, I'd like to continue. I don't know what I can really talk about now. I would love to, I'd go to the next two topics, but there's not much really time left to talk about the next two topics. I can talk about the model. I mean, why not? I really should do these scripted, but I don't really have a care for scripting. Because scripting is just, I mean, I have to script the entire video out, and I'm probably going to just read off a paper. No, I want to make this feel genuine. Make it feel like it's a genuine conversation with some friends, you know? You and me, we're just sitting here, well, me just standing here, while you and me, we're just talking. We're just talking about BioShock. So, yeah, well, yeah, we're doing stuff at the back. Give it a back design, you know, all that good stuff. That design didn't actually go in with the model, unfortunately. You'll see why pretty soon, but it didn't go in, unfortunately. Like I said, this one wasn't that easy to build. I feel like this was the tougher one to build out of all of them, just because of how difficult it was. I feel like this one and Subject Delta maybe. Subject Delta wasn't that easy. It was a bit difficult to build, and the reason why it was Subject Delta was because I had two different browns to deal with. Well, not just browns, but colors to deal with. I had two different shades of I had to figure out what to use for bronze or what to use for I just had to figure out what to use color wise, and I couldn't really figure out a good color, so I just went with I went with two different browns that are available in Lego, which I felt like worked. This one I just went with the Port Neptune design because the Port Neptune one I felt like would look different than I kind of want each design to feel like they pop, which I feel like they do. I mean, like you look at my Lancer model, that thing's bright AF, alright? It bright. It a bright boy. And, you know, this thing is orange because, well, I mean, orange is the color of the Big Daddy. Of the Neptune one. I mean, yeah, of course, these guys come in different colors, but I wanted to do that. And I will be doing, probably at some point in the future, the, Big Daddies, the two Big Daddies that are in the elite forms, the Rosie and the Bouncer, which will probably just be some slight modifications, but still, I'll do them. It'll probably be in a later wave with the Jack and the Ryan and the Atlas and all that other good stuff. I'm just gonna say this. I feel bad for Jack throughout that game. Like, there are some things he has to do in that game I just feel bad for. Like, he's got to carrying that ladder vector probably was difficult to carry throughout the game. Like, oh my god, I feel for him. That plus carrying the bomb that he has to place on at the core, the MP. Like, oh my god, that probably was a pain just to get. Even him in the elevator had to have been a pain. Like, I feel for him. And yet, with all the shots he had to take, like, he probably lost a lot of blood in that game. Oh, man, and he probably had to deal, and plus he had to probably sleep in places he never thought he would be sleeping. Man, I feel bad for him. And of course, to find out, you know, I've been a sleeper agent. There's this thing that to activate. I have this code to activate something inside me. To tell me to do stuff all this time. just ah man, he has a tough life. All right, Jack has some tough life. All right. I'd say put F in the chat for him, but we ain't on. I ain't doing this a lot. I ain't doing the premiere version of this. I would do a premiere, but nobody really was there for the premiere, so I might do a premiere later when we get more viewers on these in the future. Like once these initially go out, obviously I will. But hey, YouTube doesn't fork up the whole release. But hey, yeah. Right now I'm working on getting the body, the whole helmet done right now for the Big Daddy. I think that might be the way I do it in the actual model. I forget that it's probably different. It might be different than it is in this version. From what I can remember, but I did so many iterations with this thing, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. Yeah. I think what else could be talked about? I mean, I could just end the recording bit here, but I don't want to. I want to get it closer to when this actual recording session, this video bit's done, and then I can do the outro bit. But I don't want it just to be silence. That'd be a long bit of silence. I'm a bit of a ways away from where I have to end this. Hey, like I said in the beginning of the video, check out the Build Talk Live series I did on building Rapture. It was a really fun series I did. I would love to do it again sometime in the future, but just of how long that took, of of all the thinking and the planning ahead I had to do with when I'm going to want to stream and trying to get people on with me with that, and how quickly I want to get that done, I might not do that again. But if that does get some traction and people actually look at it again in the future, let me know if you do want to see those again, because I'd be happy to do those. I privated the Bill Talk Live series playlist because I had to. It didn't really make sense for me to have that out. So yeah, again, I will say also you are welcome to comment down below what models you'd like to see in the future. I don't always say that at the end of these videos, but you're welcome to say that. If you made it this long, you are a true champ of hearing me just talk about BioShock-related things. You must be a big fan of BioShock to hear this stuff. If you do make it around this way, let me know in your comment, and also what you think about what I talked about here. I'd love to hear people's thoughts. Thoughts and feedback are always welcomed and appreciated. Subscribing is also really appreciated. I have a Patreon also. If you donate, that's going above and beyond. I really appreciate people who go hitting that subscribe button, but if you go donate, that's just above and beyond. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'll say this: I do enjoy building these models. These Big Daddy models are really fun. Kind of glad I had the whole style for the Titanfall models in this feature available to me, because that made life a whole lot easier, as opposed to just not having them available. Made my life a little easier in building and making everything a thing, because without them, I probably wouldn't be able to. I would have to be building from scratch, And those Titanfall models were the first one, and I at least was able to get Ion done first, and at least as I went on with Ion, I used him as the basis for everybody else. And once I got one guy done, I got the other guys done, and I would just I had all the tabs open. I needed all the guys open because they were just, oh my god, it was insane. I basically I didn't really have that open to do this one because I did it all in one go, each model, which I mean, hey. That's kind of how it is with these things. I gotta record these. I want to record. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna record this all in one go. If I don't do these, I do this in one bit. A little behind the scenes knowledge for you guys. I say this in the Plan for the Month videos as well, but I also want to say this in this as well. So yeah, I think I'm like working on layering up the body right now. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing at the moment. Building up more bricks and parts and pieces onto it, and giving it giving it the height it needs before I give it I go from there. So yeah. I feel like this is where I end. I actually start the whole process with the body, but I don't know. Yeah, I do tend to check out how stable these things are. The thing just like it looks like it's gonna fall apart. Like I think these things might end up falling apart somehow. I don't know. Let me know how stable these things are. Actually, I'd love to know how stable these things do actually work because I do my best to make them fit, like stand well, and not want to fall apart. But that's just because I did my best. I did my best, and that's all I can say. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, if I'm gonna go with some crazy parts for a model, if I'm gonna go crazy somehow with a model and it's like, yeah, no, this is not stable, like, fork you, I'll go and I'll stick with this either way, I don't care. It's just how I roll. Normally I don't really, this is, the point of these build talks are not really for me just be standing here rambling about stuff. I'm really supposed to be standing here or sitting about things like, topics, but I really don't have much time. I'd like to, be talking about the other topic maybe in the other video. I do need to think of other topics, so I do need to contact them. I do need to get some other, I do need to get some ideas from other people. So yeah, also I recommend checking out the BioShock Hub video. BioShock Hub. BioShock Hub is a really good channel. I'd recommend them. They are really cool people. Really cool people. He's a cool guy. I like him. I learned a lot of cool stuff about BioShock from the video, from the channel. Cool people. Highly recommend them. And yeah, less than 10 minutes out from the end of this video, well, roughly, but I mean, till I'm done rambling, So yeah, and I gotta do the outro bit. And I can eat. It's dinner time. As of me recording this. Don't like kind of saying that kind of stuff while I'm recording though, because that just kind of feels weird. But I just did. I'll probably just go over some of the other build talk videos we'll be going over. Let me actually pull up a thing here that I have on it somewhat. My introduction to BioShock, thoughts on each game. That'll probably be in its own video together, but that'll probably be a whole Delta video. The whole Delta video, I'll probably have to do them together. Do the whole thing in one go and then split it in half. I don't know, I'll have to see. Yeah, I'm kind of just saying all this out loud right now, I know. Inclusion in media, I don't know, that was an idea because I was going to talk about Tenenbaum, but I mean, I don't know. Depends on how things go. I don't want to make it feel like, oh, I'm an SJW and all that stuff now. I want to kind of make it feel like, okay, I want you guys to understand, okay, this character means something to me. This is why I support this idea. So yeah, let's have some of that. But done right. But we'll talk a bit about that and that's all I have, minus the one we just talked about. the idea we just talked about. What if Rapture actually had contact with the actual world, and BioShock storytelling. I do want to talk about that. So yeah, after that, I think that's basic. I've got to get some more, but after that, we shall see. Because there's probably going to be more topics to talk about with BioShock. I'm going to try to get a guest on this. I'll have to try to get a guest with... of course, like I said, I'll be doing more BioShock in the future, so yeah. I'll try to make it to like the 25-minute mark here before I wrap this all up. I haven't really thought of anything else for the topic related, unfortunately, to add. I feel like I covered everything properly. I'm right now working on getting the helmet started. As you can see, the helmet actually, once I got to the helmet, I felt like I actually had an idea on what I was doing. That was actually not that hard to do. And it made life a lot easier. The helmet, it was actually not that difficult in the long run, but once I got that done, it made life a little easier. Of course, there was some bit of trickiness into it, like at the top of the head, top of the helmet. That was a bit of a tricky bit, but after I got that done, it worked out well. I really like. I say this. I'm gonna say this again. I do like these models. Even though I'm like, yeah, these things were a bit of a pain to build. I don't mind that they were a bit of a pain to build. They were fun to they're fun to build nonetheless. I do enjoy them nonetheless. They're fun. They're fun to build. I love just sitting here listening to my BioShock music and playing them and building them. And one of these days I'm gonna buy all these models myself and actually get this thing going and actually have my own BioShock models and have them all displayed in a way that they look awesome and have like Jack and Andrew Ryan look like maybe they're facing off when I actually build Jack and Andrew Ryan. I want to do that one of these days and along with Atlas. I'm also going to do like a miniature version of like the BioShock series episode, BioShock 1 and 2, maybe Infinite. If somebody actually helps me with that, I'm going to need to kind of go over what the big events are in that game. And we will kind of cover and have it be like a whole, like a little telling thing that shows like, hey, this little scene shows us entering BioShock. This little scene shows us getting the Electrobolt. That kind of bit. That'd be cool. I'd like to do that. That'd actually be fun to build. And it'll be like this long chain, but it'd be fun to do. I don't know how to do a tutorial on that. I'd probably do like it'd either be 2 parts or something. I don't know. I'll have to see. But yeah. I'll say this. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Even though I will say this again. I do enjoy making these. Even though, I have like even though there are other things I do have other focuses on, I should be kind of focusing on, like, being a bit social. I do enjoy working on these. Doing YouTube is a big thing, is a thing of mine that I do enjoy, and I would not trade this for the world. You guys are awesome. And yeah, I should probably be saying this in like a plan for the month video, but I don't care right now. I'm saying this here. The BioShock build time video, which nobody might actually hear for a very long time. So yeah. Okay. Also, I know I'll say this at the end, but check out DK Gaming. It could use some love, and I mean that the love could be used. It could really use some love. Like the love, it needs some of that love, and I mean that. So yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna end this video here. End off my recording bit here. You're gonna have a little bit of a silence portion before it'll wrap. Before you get to hearing me talking. But hey, enjoy the building portion of this going on of me building the helmet of the Big Daddy. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the outro. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it for you guys. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Check out my friend's novel Rise. Link to that in the description down below, as always. Also, check out my other channel, DKBrickStudios. Link to that in the description down below, as always. Also, check out my socials. Link to those in the description down below, as always. Also, Patreon. Link to that in the description down below. You will be going above and beyond if you donate. I'll be greatly appreciative if you hit that subscribe button. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's sign off here. This is DKBrickStudios signing off from the report of others. Always a feel in the next.
Birds of a feather well weathered together, chasing the dark from the night. Trust in your feelings and find a new hope. Take your best shot and let go.